All right, night two. So this night we got again they're hammering that this is the Triple H era home. We got Stephanie McMahon coming down to the ring, and I was actually kind of surprised because a lot of people are like, oh, all the McMahons are gone. We're never getting a McMahon on television again. Yada yada yada. And we got Stephanie. And she also got a new theme song, so I was like, is she getting more involved? Because why would you just remix her theme song into a rock version just for shits? And I mean, maybe that whole new era thing was they were just taking it literally and just changing everybody's theme song. But yeah, she came down to the ring, borrowed a couple of words from Triple H to ask everybody if you're ready. And she repeated herself, and then she welcomed everybody to WrestleMania. And they're probably going to clip that to remove the "Welcome to WrestleMania" from Vince McMahon, because this is a new era. This is the Paul Levesque era. And we got the pay-per-view, the PLE, opening with Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was on the short side, but I thought it was really a good way to open the show. I thought it was the right match to open the show.
Yep.
And
agreed.
And the entrances were really cool. I don't know what the hell Seth Rollins was wearing, but I'll have what he's having, when it was time for talking about, creative and their entrances. I'm sure he had input into what the hell he was wearing. I think it was some kind of local Philadelphia group. I don't know what it was. The Philadelphia, I don't know. I was gonna say something stupid, but a lot very avian, lots of bird feathers. I'll say lots of colors. It felt like some kind of weird anime acid trip Yoshimitsu kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it, but I thought it was cool.
What was it that said it was Liberace?
CM Punk. CM Punk, I think, said Liberace would be rolling in his grave or something along those lines. Rest in peace. But really good match. It was on the shorter side, but I was happy that Drew won, and I was a little sad that he lost about 15 seconds later when Damian Priest came in to cash in. But honestly, he kind of deserved it. I mean, first of all, I don't know what that crawl was. Like, that was super sexual. From my perspective, I was like, why are you crawling that slow to CM Punk with your title belt on all fours on the announcer table? But yeah, I mean, he was just talking crap to CM Punk. He was telling the camera guy to get a shot of this because he wants to hang this in his office or whatever, with him holding the belt and just, an injured Punk, quote unquote. And Punk basically tripped his ass. He fell on his back. He took off the brace, and then he started beating the crap out of him, curb stomping him. You hear Damian Priest's theme song come in. He cashes in. I honestly thought that Drew McIntyre probably needed a little more of a whooping to really get that loss, because I don't know, a couple of smacks with the brace and him slipping, and he did the what's Damian Priest's finisher called? Oh crap! Well, his modified choke slam thing.
Choke slam.
The bisexual Undertaker bondage slam. He just did that move, and then he just pinned him. I was like, I feel like they needed a little more of an ass whooping just to make it a little more believable. But I popped, and so did everyone else in the crowd. What did you guys think of this match?
It reminded me a lot of Rollins versus Brock when they were put in a similar situation when they went up first at a Mania.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good way to put Rollins in with a bigger dude.
Yep.
Like, even though him and McIntyre could have those type of matches, it was nice to see like a brawl.
I agree.
And then McIntyre's taunts were hilarious, like tweeting bored at work.
What did he
and then
did he
tweeting
tweet
fuck.
fuck right after he lost?
Yeah. Go to the tweet, he's like, fuck.
Yeah, he just did like a follow-up tweet in that same thread. He just said fuck. That was so good. And again, he got at the I was watching the Slammies. I'm like, that's a whole other thing. I'm like, we have too much to cover. That's how much wrestling was taking place this weekend. I don't even have a section for Stand and Deliver or the Slammies because there was way too much goddamn wrestling in like a 4 days. I'm sorry, SmackDown, 3 shows on Saturday. A whole crazy, emotional, draining show on Sunday, and then we had the Raw after Mania. Lots of wrestling this week, but
Hall of Fame till midnight.
Oh yeah, I forgot Hall of Fame. Thank you. Like I even forgot about the Hall of Fame, which was on SmackDown. Insane. But do you guys think that Damian Priest cashing in was the right idea for WrestleMania?
Yes, I actually completely forgot about it, and it was funny because, like in the last podcast, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna do it," and then it actually felt like an element of surprise, and it was perfect. I love the shot too of Punk, like hearing the music, turning around, and then the camera just catches his smirk, and he's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna beat his ass some more, and then throw him in the ring really quick," So like, no, it was awesome. It was perfect. I think it was a very good beginning match, and it was good to just get you jumping, and like, oh hell yeah. Good start to the WrestleMania night too.
I mean, everyone was giving him shit that he wasn't cashing it in these specific instances. They're like, "What, you dumbass? Like you got the case. This guy just got the crap beat out of him, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna stand back and not do anything." So
that's true. Yeah.
And Triple H made a comment on that too, by the way. And I feel like this might have been a last minute decision because he saw that people were talking shit, that it made Damian Priest look like an idiot for not cashing in earlier, which now makes me feel a little bad about Drew McIntyre because he might have actually just had the belt and won and got his WrestleMania moment without this extra, voodoo. But I think he's going to get his match and victory at Clash at the Castle, which is in Scotland. I don't think that's a coincidence. And that's happening in June or July, one of those summer PLEs. But I think that he's getting it back. And it'll probably be, I think Punk might be later, but I think he's going to get it back at Clash at the Castle. David, do you think Damian Priest getting it now is a good idea? What do you think of Bondage Undertaker?
It works. We give him shit, but he's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's 41. I mean, I feel like he deserves it. He needs, I felt like he needed some kind of big title because he did deserve it. You look at Backlash last year in Puerto Rico, they put on a hell of a banger. He made Bad Bunny look like $1 million, and a lot of it was, I mean, obviously the producers backstage, but also him, because you need a worker who just knows how to make you look good and himself look good, and he's one of those guys. And he's also just a really nice guy, off camera, and those interviews and seeing him at those press conferences. I think it couldn't have happened to a better guy. So.
Agreed.
Long may he reign for 2 months until Drew McIntyre.
He's came a long way since being some random guy on the undercard of the original All In.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the other thing. Like you mentioning that, that's so crazy how far he came. When was that? 2019, 18?
Yeah,
something like that. I mean, what is it? Okay, 6 years.
Does anybody have a tattoo of it?
I don't. Thankfully, but just thinking how far he came in those 6 years, I mean, insane. Congrats to him. 2018. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, 6-7 years, something like that. Yeah. Long way.
Long enough.
But congrats to him. I think this might be out of order a little now, where it's a little blurry, but we're gonna go into Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament in a 6-man tag team Philadelphia street fight, and the special referee was Bubba Ray. It's Bubba, right? Not Diva. It's the other one. It was Bubba Ray Dudley. Dudley Ray. He was. I thought he was an interesting choice as a special referee. It made sense because it is Philadelphia. the home of ECW. Do you feel like he was the right spot? Like, if we were thinking of an ECW legend to referee this match, do you think there was a better person besides Bubba Ray?
No, I think if you went with like the main taboo.
Tommy
No, I
Dreamer
think
with the
Bubba
Glock.
No,
They
Bubba
didn't
was probably
want
the
to bury
best
that one.
choice. 'Cause he also has a lot of history in WWE as well, and he's also a very fan favorite for being part of Team 3D and all that. So he's a very recognizable face. I feel like the next best thing you could have done is maybe RVD, but you can't. So him or Devon would have been the best choice.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, was like someone like RVD. But to be honest with you, I wasn't even expecting a special referee because they never
Yeah, was this like
mentioned
last
anything.
minute? Like,
So this was a nice surprise. And again, this match was just street fight, like just you threw that word around, crash dummies. I think someone did. This was that kind of match. This was like, we're just beating the crap out of people with kendo sticks. We're putting people through tables. There was a really nasty kind of like chair spot that one of them just like landed on like the back part of the chair.
Yeah.
That looked gross. And I think it was Karrion Kross who did that, by the way.
yeah,
And that table that they put up and then they put the guy on and then it just fucking smashed and went down. To be fair, they really thought on their feet and they just grabbed another one and then did it. But there was no one was like, "Oh, you fucked up" or whatever, because it's not who plans for the table to fall through. Like, what are you gonna do, And luckily they had a bunch of spares. What did you guys think of this match?
I enjoyed it. And I'll be honest, I'm not really too familiar with the Final Testament grouping, but I did vote for them to win because I was just like, I'll just throw a random pick in there. But it was okay. Like, it wasn't too bad. I did enjoy the match. I was actually there's a funny spot in there because when we started talking about the match, I was thinking there was like a part where like it's just chaos going on. All the guys are fighting each other. The two girls are on the apron, and there was a table behind them. They just like they both just fell together. I mean, I know one was like doing a maneuver, and they just both fell through the table. It was just more of like one of those things like you're paying attention to this, and all of a sudden you just hear bam, and you're like, wait, what? And then you're like,
yeah,
what happened?
Yeah, because it was like in the is it background, not foreground. Like there was shit happening here, and they were there, but the camera was kind of looking at it, like you were looking at it from a distance, and I think they must have thought it was like some kind of creative decision to do it. But yeah, you're looking at BFAB and Scarlett, and they're just kind of like knocking each other, and then she just freaking pushes both of themselves like backwards onto the table. Props to them.
To her. I forgot what that wrestling move is called. I used to see it a lot back in the day where people would align themselves and then like put their arm over their shoulder. Was it that? Yeah, that's what it was. Or at least that's what they attempted. But I just remember seeing them just both fall, and it didn't look like anything. And then I saw the replay of it, and I was like, oh, they were actually doing a move, but still just very random because they were just pretty much gone from the match for the rest of the time.
Yeah, I mean that fucked them up pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't blame.
But I mean,
it was a super table.
Yes, it was a super table. I haven't seen a two stack table spot in a while before. Yeah. I think the last time, I mean, I'm sure they've done it plenty of times since then, but the one that vividly I remember is Edge versus John Cena. It's 2006. I think it was TLC in the SummerSlam. They had like that giant feud, and they had like those stacked tables, and he was on top of the ladder, and then FU'd him through those tables, which is a crazy spot. But yeah, I mean, the things that stuck out to me for this match, obviously Bubba Ray, he whooped out the glasses and he put them on. They made that a big dramatic thing. They did the "what's that" spot by having the guy on his back and his legs up like this. I forgot who was on the top turnbuckle. Someone from Street Profits. It wasn't Bobby Lashley. Maybe it was Montez. But yeah, did the spot. I mean, a good match. I can't. I'd give it like if I was Dave Meltzer, I'd give it 3 out of 5 stars. If I'm honest, it was entertaining. It didn't.
Yeah, it was
It did
entertaining
what
for
it
sure.
needed to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now we got LA Knight versus AJ Styles, which was it was good. I mean, I don't have too much to say on this specific match. I thought their feud, the buildup was really good. I liked the home invasion thing, even though it's, you know, a tried and true thing. They've done it a number of times, but there are different ways you can go about it, and they had a fresh new take on home invasions, which is apparently recorded and legal in WWE land.
Or Georgia.
Or Georgia, apparently. Maybe that's what it was. It's because it's in Georgia. Yeah, good build up. I thought the actual match was really good, and the right person won in LA Knight. What did you think? Did you guys? Was that? Yeah, he had the new theme song at WrestleMania, right? Or would?
Yeah.
Did you like that new song?
Didn't really hear it. Like,
I heard it, but I don't have strong feelings on it yet. I think I have to hear it a couple
same.
of times.
I didn't really have much of an opinion just yet on it. I like the old one, but
Yeah, I just thought it was like
I don't know if I'm gonna like this one. Yeah. I like the match. I did think I'm happy with LA Knight winning, but I kind of felt like toward the end, like it was weird because like it looked like AJ Styles was just like beating the crap out of him for a good like 10 solid minutes, and it kind of dragged a little. And then LA Knight hit him with his finisher once, and then he won. And I was like, oh, okay. But still, like I enjoyed it. But like I said, like the build up to the end, I was kind of like, huh, all right. Like I kind of was like, all right, I guess it's fine. But good match.
Do you think it's done? Do you think they're done with each other? Or is there going to be some kind of rubber match? I guess they need 2 matches or 3 matches to be a rubber match. But do you think there's a rematch in the future? Perhaps a backlash?
Backlash.
I think
soon, so maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe backlash and then maybe settle it. Maybe there. But I think I feel like AJ needs to have more of a rival with his old crew, to be honest. And then LA Knight can probably get moved up a little into the scene of maybe a title match.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the new theme song, which screams to me, "I'm a bad guy. Here's my new song," and they're gonna make it a more permanent thing. I don't think it's a temporary heel turn. It's not like he's just mad at LA Knight. I think he's just gonna be an a-hole for a little bit, which you know, for Bullet Club, or what do they call it, Bullet Club in WWE, or is it just the club?
Bullet Club.
Tell me this. How does this work with trademarks and stuff? Because I hear Bullet Club in like 3 different wrestling promotions, and somehow no one's getting sued.
I thought they're the OC, or is that the old one? The old name they used to have.
He's talking about like Bullet Club and TNA and everywhere else.
Yeah, you have it in AEW, don't you? New Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because you add like another word to it, like Bullet Club Gold.
They all have working agreements with each other. Well, those 3.
Oh, okay.
So that could be another reason why. It's just permission to use the name. Like WWE is only allowed to use it in like mention, but there can't be like, oh, this is Bullet Club Entertainment.
Bullet Club D's nuts.
Yeah.
Bullet Club Silver. That makes sense. Yeah, I was just curious. But yeah, any additional thoughts on this? Do you guys feel like they're getting a rematch, or is this feud done after WrestleMania?
I'm okay with it ending, but I wouldn't be surprised if it continued a little bit longer.
David?
I think it's done.
Yeah.
I think LA Knight's one of those people that could kind of have one and dones right now and just keep moving up.
Yeah, put him in the title picture already, or some kind of title. Like, I feel like he should have some kind of strap on him. You know, maybe the United States Championship is in his future, like SummerSlam or something like that. Because he's another guy who's getting up there. I think he's 39 or something like that. And you know, now I feel like back 20 years back, even if in 30 years back, there was a lot of this like, oh, once you're in your late 30s or early 40s, you're basically like old news or old, kind of like what they were doing with like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, that kind of stuff. At least from Vince McMahon's perspective. But I feel like, again, a lot of people say, their diets are different. People are working out differently. So a lot of guys who are in their 40s or even early 50s, like The Rock, for example, Sting is crazy, and I think he's an outlier, and he's in his 60s. But I mean, he still did a great match, like as his retirement match,
Yeah.
But
Plus, a lot more safety precautions in the ring too. There's not as much of like hardwood as they're getting hit on anymore. I mean,
right,
and plus, they're implementing a lot more time off too, which is nice.
right.
So it's kind of salvaging their careers.
Yeah, but
have you ever heard how many days Hulk Hogan used to work?
that's the other thing. But he didn't work that many dates, did he?
Who knows? It's Hulk Hogan.
It's true.
You're right. He once said he was somewhere in Japan or something, and
He had 3 matches in 3 days, but it was actually 1 day.
yeah, exactly.
Time zones work.
Yeah, exactly. Purely based on time zone. So who knows with Hulk Hogan? But yeah, I mean, I think LA Knight's going to be moving on to another feud. I think it should be involving some sort of title. Maybe he can be. Once this draft happens, we'll get a clearer picture of where everyone's at, but perhaps he can be involved with the Judgment Day, do a match with Damian Priest, or, have a feud with Logan Paul, because they could maybe, which we'll talk about now, this Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, this might extend into the next couple of PLEs, but I mean, Logan Paul's another one who you can kind of like put him in a different feud, and I feel like it could work, So speaking of this next upcoming match, we got Logan Paul versus Randy Orton, Kevin Owens in a triple threat match. Again, like, man, Logan Paul, God, like, he's just really, really good at what he does. I know, you can tell, and I could just tell based on like his interviews and stuff, he doesn't necessarily like being hated. Like, he wants to be liked, but whatever it is, like, he just doesn't come across as a nice, genuine person, you know what I mean, in his like interviews and stuff. I don't know what it is, but he's just a really good bad guy, and you got to give him props to that. But I saw him on like the Pat McAfee show and stuff, and when they started chanting for him, he like lit up. He was like so happy. Yeah, they really love me. They really love me. But again, like I think he just doesn't understand, like, from his perspective, like, you have to understand, and I know this, that he was a younger person, and I'm not going to give him crap for what he did on YouTube and stuff, because people do dumb shit when they're younger. He's an older person now, and I'm not going to hold it against him. But a lot of people do hold it against him in terms of his YouTube history, and from like an average fan's perspective, you were like this really big dick, like dickish boxer, and you came down to the ring with like an expensive Charizard card. That's not what like a nice person does. And you came into this business, no fault. I mean, he took it to it really well. I mean, that's the one thing. People are probably jealous that he's super good at it. But then he has like this sponsorship with Prime Energy, and everyone knows that's your company, and you put your logo on the ring. Like, you're giving yourself fuel to look like an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but that, like, people make that's like heel tactics for most people, even if it's business. But this match was really entertaining. We had Kevin Owens, we had Randy Orton. Kevin Owens came out in like this golf cart, and he rolled down the ramp, and then Randy Orton's theme song came. He backed that thing back up there, and he asked Randy Orton if he wanted to ride, and then rolled their asses down to the ring. Really entertaining. And Logan Paul retained. There was like these seeds of potential feud with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. But they knew that they had to like fight each other because someone had to win. So like that just makes sense, that they ended up fighting each other eventually. And who was the Logan Paul lackey that was in the Prime bottle this time? iSpeed something. I Show Speed. Thank you. Yeah. I feel like there should be like a new person behind that in that Prime bottle every single time they do that spot, because that's always entertaining, and that always seems like it's just part of a Logan Paul match now on a PLE. But what did you guys think of this match specifically? Do you think Logan Paul should have retained, or should they have given the strap to Orton or Owens?
I think it was the right call to let Logan Paul retain. KO and Randy Orton are kind of the guys that don't need it at this point.
Yeah, agree.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed. It'd be funny to have your own logo on the ring and then lose and all that.
Does more for him. Does more for the person that beats Logan Paul.
Yeah. And to be fair, I was gonna talk shit about that logo, but I also said like wait and see until what it looks like, because like he revealed the original one and that was obnoxious, but the actual implementation at WrestleMania was not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it was pretty subtle compared to like, you know, the dude wipes or the gin and juice ad placements, because that was like on every ring post. But good match overall. We can jump into the IYO SKY versus Bayley match for the WWE Women's Championship. This was a really, really good match. This was like the second match to the last match that we'll talk about. But really, like IYO SKY doesn't get enough credit of how good of a wrestler she is. She needed more of these kind of championship matches with this amount of time going into them. That rose plant into the back flip or whatever it was, like that was so cool. Good.
That was really cool.
That was really good. And Bayley came out with like this Egyptian. I was trying to figure out why she was going with like this specific look. Someone mentioned something that in her hometown there might be some kind of park that is like has some kind of Egyptian name or something. And that's where she got that from. I thought maybe she was a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan or something, and she just wanted to be like Yu-Gi or something. But yeah, she had the new haircut. She was basically coming out with like these 6 guys holding her up. IYO, I forgot. Did she have the geishas, or was that that was Damage Control?
No, that was night 1.
Yeah,
she just came out with Damage Control, but the Titanfront and the lighting she was really cool.
Yeah,
she still had a really nice entrance.
Yeah, so I mean, but this match was really good. Though. Yeah,
how she came out was funny because she just kept like screaming and like stumbling. Like she didn't like, I don't know, she just kept doing this and like falling this way and going this. It was kind of cool. But
I told Arthur
it was different.
I told Arthur who was watching with us that she was just kind of like channeling Shinsuke Nakamura or something. He does the whole convulsions and shaking and going up and down and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas
but she had a really nice entrance. I'm surprised that Damage Control like they didn't come with her all the way. I thought, but they came like partially down the ramp and then that was it. I thought like maybe it was going to be like that whole thing because they've always interfered in a lot of matches, but no, it was actually just straight down the middle with both. Yeah,
that's a good point. I didn't expect any I thought there would be some kind of interference, but
with this match, like this was one of my more anticipated matches because I did like Damage Control a lot too, and so I was very much anticipating this one. The first half I was a little like like with IYO SKY, because I know that she can do really good maneuvers and she's a very good wrestler. I know that she was, but I felt the first half I was like not seeing a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And then they were trying to sell Bayley's knee being hurt again and stuff. But yeah, no, it definitely picked up and got really good. And I was like, oh hell yeah! Like I really ended up liking the match a lot. But just in the very beginning, I was kind of like was already expecting more because like I said, IYO SKY doesn't get enough credit, and I know she can do a lot more. And I was like, where is that? You know, this is WrestleMania 40. Mm-hmm. But once it started to pick up, it really went, and I was very happy with the match.
They were telling either or
winner. Yeah, it was very good. I did enjoy the match. That whole like flip up out of the finisher and stuff, and the recovery of that was awesome. It was good. I did enjoy the match very much, and I was okay with the outcome too. Either way. I was probably more curious though if Bayley won, which is what happened, to see where that goes forward. Because I know with Damage Control, like, they may break them up or they may keep them together. I don't know. Interesting to see going forward what they will do with them too.
David,
and good for Bayley too. Finally.
Yes. I agree.
Outside of like the heavyweight match is probably my favorite match.
Yeah.
It was nice to see those two with a lot of time.
Yeah, they did have a lot of time.
A lot of time, and I mean, they mentioned this. Well, a lot of people who were just kind of commenting on this after that Bayley was the last horsewoman to get her WrestleMania like victory in like this kind of singles match championship type thing. So again, like long overdue, really deserved. I mean, I remember when I was watching her when she was the hugger on NXT, and then she came out on the main roster in like 2014, 15, something like that. Damn, a decade. That is crazy that she's been around. But
Yeah.
man, but well deserved. I want to see. I'm excited for SmackDown and see like what she says, what happens with Damage Control. I don't think there's going to be any kind of reconciliation. Maybe there will be, but if I was Bayley, I wouldn't trust those bitches if I was her. Yeah, where do you see Bayley going from here? Do you think that she'll be on SmackDown or Raw? Who do you think she could be feuding with next? Because I think she's a babyface, right? So you'd think she'd be probably pairing up with a heel. I don't think they'd flip her back to a heel that quickly. I don't know who would her opponent be?
Well, she might be like Cody and just be on both, you know.
Potentially.
Like more on SmackDown. I think she's SmackDown, but maybe make appearances here and there on Raw, and then maybe develop a rivalry that way. But who on SmackDown could she really right now? It could continue the rivalry between her and IYO.
Tiffany Stratton.
And Stratton, yeah.
You can say IYO SKY. I mean, IYO SKY deserves a rematch. I mean, I think that makes sense. Yeah,
they may continue that storyline longer because with Damage Control, I don't know if they really like have an idea exactly what to do with them either at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, the Kabuki Warriors are the tag team champions, but then Dakota Kai. I'm sorry. She's just there, you know. What do they do with her too?
I mean, that's a good point. It could be other women in Damage Control who she can feud with. I feel like that's a pretty big heel group. Like that's a huge percentage of the women heels on SmackDown is in Damage Control.
Yeah. And then Asuka also would be like technically another contender as well. I mean, she's won the title how many times?
Right.
But it's like, do we really need to? I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I don't know.
I mean, I feel like
Asuka going to her
Stratton's got to be doing something, you know, going into after this WrestleMania. Yeah. So we'll see.
How long has Charlotte been injured?
Oh, good point. I don't think she's coming. I think she's still got a little bit to go. I don't think she's coming back anytime soon. So I think in the immediate future, we might see a rematch with someone from Damage Control. I don't know if it's necessarily IYO SKY, although that makes the most sense because she's held the title for a bit and probably that rule that they used to have where like, oh, the champion who loses gets a rematch. I feel like they've kind of like not been following that rule that much. So we'll see. But
it could also create drama later on for Damage Control. Like,
yeah,
maybe Asuka goes for the title and then IYO's pissed. I don't know. Yeah. A lot of potential.
There's a lot of opportunities there. All right, so we are now down to the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. The match that I think 99% of the people were there for and wanted to see, with Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the they better change this name, Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Just call it the WWE Championship. I don't think it's necessary to call it Undisputed because you have a World Heavyweight Championship on the other show. So he doesn't have, you still have another belt. So just call it, I think just call it the WWE Championship, but I digress. This match was, everyone uses that word, but it was cinema. I think it was cinema. I think it was, people called it Avengers Endgame. I agree. I think it was like Avengers Endgame. I think that the the build to the match, like the way that they wrestled, like the crowd was into the whole thing. Like they knew that they were expecting some sort of interference eventually. So you'd think that some people are just going to be sitting on their hands and just kind of like half being there and waiting to see, everyone jumping in and doing that. But the energy in night 2 specifically, and I think this is an important comment to make too about the audience energy, because a lot of people were complaining about night 1's energy from the audience. In night 2, that was not a problem. They were really into it. And I don't know if they just had a new crowd of people with tickets that just had more energy. What was that?
Temperature. It was like a 10, 15 degree different.
That probably also affects mood, so you're probably right. So warmer. I mean, Stephanie McMahon came in like shoulderless dress and whatever. I was like, I thought it was cold. You're right. It was warmer. Very into it early on, and yeah, the interferences were tastefully done. It wasn't like everyone's just like coming out. Like there was some kind of logic to it. It was like, oh, look, Roman Reigns looks like he's about to lose. Jimmy Uso's going to come out. Then Jey Uso comes out because he's going to knock him out. And then they kept doing it in that specific way. Anytime Roman Reigns looked like he was about to lose, they brought someone else out. And then John Cena came out. And The Undertaker came out. Who am I missing? I feel like there were other people who came out. I think that was it.
Oh, Seth Rollins came out.
Seth
really
Rollins,
quick.
right. I'll comment on that in a second. But yeah, crazy, like just the whole thing, the build, the audience,
just chaos like you wanted.
The ending. It was chaos like I wanted, but it was like the way they executed it, I thought was done tastefully, and even I felt like Undertaker made a little bit of sense because there was history between The Rock and Undertaker and Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. Didn't Roman Reigns also beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Isn't
yep.
Yeah, because Undertaker's like
he retired him the first time.
Yeah,
when he left his gloves in the ring and shit.
Yeah, so I mean, like there was some kind of tie there. With Stone Cold, I thought. I was expecting that too. I was a little disappointed he didn't show up because that glass break, that would have been like deafening, but maybe they did like some kind of weird last minute change. I don't know. A lot of people were reading into Triple H's tweet, which apparently he tweeted at exactly 3:16 p.m. So, our monkey brains and finding patterns, we try and connect the dots where there might not be any, but what did you guys think of this match? This crazy ass made me cry match. Initial impressions.
It was great. I think it was a great match. Yeah, it was chaos. It was good. Yeah, same. When I was watching it, I was hyped. I was loving the interferences and the response to another interference to that. Cena showing up, very surprising. I guess like surprising but not surprising. But I was still really happy that he just like showed up, came and saved the day for that moment, and then The Rock coming out, and we had that nice stare down between the two of them, kind of reliving that moment of when they had their WrestleMania main events twice in a row.
Yeah, I think it was.
Now we're gonna have 3 times in a lifetime.
28 and 29.
Yeah, that was awesome. Funny how went like that and then like went to hit him and then rock bottom done. Yeah, and I agree too. I was so expecting Stone Cold and hoping it was going to be Stone Cold. That was the best option, honestly. Undertaker being there, cool. But no, like Stone Cold and The Rock, I was telling you guys before, I thought they were going to set something up for that. Like I literally did. And that would have been probably the best place to do it.
Taker.
Yeah.
You could.
I mean, that's what they're
It should have been Stone Cold, but I'm still okay with The Undertaker showing up. The American Badass version, I guess.
No, that was the 6 Feet Under podcast version.
Yeah, it's 6 Feet Under podcast.
6 Feet Under
Jack
podcast
Daniels Undertaker version.
Okay.
I
don't know.
Jack
I
Daniels.
just saw him and I was like, when I saw him, I was like, I mean, it's cool, but like, I just kind of wish he had his actual Undertaker like hat and jacket on, maybe more so.
Honestly, was fine with him just being like the bandana and stuff. I feel like if he had his Undertaker gear, I thought it might have been a little hokey. Just because I don't know. Like I was looking at it from perspective, like I'm the Undertaker / Mark Calloway, and I'm just coming in to help instead of like I'm Ookie Spooky Undertaker. I mean, but to be fair, he gonged and appeared and then gonged and disappeared. So me just walking through this.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I think just for the aesthetic purposes of like, oh shit. I mean, it was still oh shit regardless, but
he left that stuff in the ring when he retired for real.
That's true. He's like, oh shit, I got no more. Like it just disappeared in the ring.
He put it back on in his Hall of Fame speech, and he did say never say never. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm
he put it right back on. He literally put it all back on.
I'm fine with him doing occasional appearances, and if it's just a choke slam, that's cool. But I don't think he should come back and do a match because he's retired at least 3 times. I feel like he's put the boots in that on the ring. There he did the AJ Styles Boneyard match. That was good. I don't think he needs to come back again.
That was his official last match, right?
Yeah, last match.
Okay. Last.
What about you, David? What did you think of this whole match and the ending? I know you guys were commenting a little bit how your tribal chief lost and all that, but what are your actual feelings? Shoot from the hip,
I mean,
if you will.
It's cool. Cody's the guy to do it. The match itself was really good. I feel like match quality wise, it wasn't like other than the last 20-30 minutes of just chaos. Like that was probably like one of the more well put together Roman matches in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think quote of the night was him hitting a crossroads and being like, that move doesn't beat anybody.
Yeah, that was so good. Man, you got to give Roman credit. Like he's just so good just thinking on his feet, and like that shit just makes me laugh when he just does these comments. Or when he was like just his whole streak, like I'm gonna give him his flowers right now. Like the promo stuff he did against Seth Rollins and calling him a geek and a nerd. And he's like, you want Seth Rollins, you want tribal chief money. Like he was like, or when he mentioned Seth Rollins, he's like, yeah, that's right, no pop.
I love the Seth Rollins segment too. That was beautiful.
That's the thing I wanted to comment on. So the way that the Shield entrance hit, and I know this was probably not going to happen, but I was like, is Dean Ambrose going to come out? Like, why the hell is the Shield music playing? And I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. I don't know why. He's obviously in AEW, but I was like, you know what? I feel like anything can happen, you know. But Dustin Rhodes didn't show up, so why would Dean Ambrose show up, you know? So yeah, so they play the song, and just the way that the camera was doing it, like it almost felt like Seth Rollins was like an after, like he just got yeeted in like an off screen, like he got killed off screen. You know, the way they shot the camera, it felt like, because it was literally like, okay, where is he coming? Where is he coming? Okay, and then he was like just kind of in the corner, and he's wearing his cosplay gear, and then just fucking Roman Reigns just spears him or whatever, and then he's like gone. Like there wasn't a real focus there.
I think it was Superman Punch. I think he came in and just
with the chair.
Yeah, so that
was cool.
That was really good, and a lot of people have brought this up too. But it's a good point, and again, long-term storytelling, 10 years in the making. Seth Rollins became a heel because, that's how they broke up the Shield. He's talking about he always has a plan B. He hit Roman Reigns with the chair, and then he joined the Authority. I think that's what they were called.
He didn't sell out. He bought in.
Yeah, remember? He bought in. He was a Triple H meat writer early on, and he was part of the Authority. But that was really good because, like, yeah, that's why the Shield broke up. And Roman Reigns, look, he was so upset. He still wears his Shield gear for most of his career.
Even now, he just took off the vest.
Yeah, he just took off the vest. He's just still wearing the pants, and he's got the gauntlet stuff. Like that's still Shield gear. And yeah, so he was so mad at that he had the opportunity to hit Cody with the chair and potentially end it, but he was like, no, fuck this geek over here in his Shield gear using our theme song. He just hit him in the back. That was really good. That was very smart booking.
Yep.
And Seth Rollins was right. He said he'll be a shield, and that's exactly what he did. He protected him from another potential hit, and that's where Cody Rhodes got his one up, and then he did his he had to do 3 crossroads. That's how weak that move was. He had to do 3 to actually pin Roman Reigns. But once that 3 hit, like that shit, that entire crowd, and me included, because David saw, it was like, yes! I was smacking the floor. I was like so excited. The whole crowd was crazy. And then the whole ending, the whole sequence of events that happened, of the ending, like everyone's cheering, he's crying.
Bret Hart moment.
It's the Bret Hart moment. His wife comes in, his mother comes in, all the big baby faces who stayed in the back. Randy Orton, who he was in Legacy with, came out. LA Knight, Sami Zayn, CM Punk, he came out. They lifted him up on his shoulders. I mean, just a really, really good moment. You had Samantha Irvin, who was crying.
Oh yeah. Because she was choking up when she was calling it.
She couldn't finish. She finished it, but she was choking up as she was announcing it. Because she was always like, "Don't tell me who wins. I want to know." And she just wants to have that, emotion, which is that's so cool of her. She's like such a wrestling geek. I love it. And Michael Cole, who again, fucking all-star, like just calling the match, like he really adds layers to this. People used to give him so much crap. I remember when he was like commentating like the early mid 2000s, they were crapping on Michael Cole. In the early 2000s, he was like basically the butt of many jokes. Like The Rock redid that skit that he did in the late 90s where he put like a shirt over him while he was interviewing The Rock. He did that to Michael Cole. I think it was at WWE World. So just what a long way he's come, and you can tell the shackles of you can tell the shackles that Vince McMahon had over him. Like it really helped the release of those shackles really improved his commentating. He was already good, but not having a guy yelling into your ear every single time probably helps your performance too.
And he got younger.
Or maybe it's just the Papa Tooie gift bag that he got from The Rock as an apology for all those times he was, giving him shit. But yeah, Michael Cole was also crying, and he was making me cry because everyone's getting freaking emotional. I was like, oh Jesus, this is so good.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I've known him since he was a kid.
Yeah, that's what got me. He was like talking about him as a boy. Yeah. I was like, jeez, here we go,
little boy.
Yeah, and then he just couldn't finish it, and then he was like, you could hear that he's like trying to hold it in, and then Cody's hugging him, they're having a long thing, he's hugging the camera guys, just like really feel good thing. And then Michael Cole said, this is why I love professional wrestling, and another term that they're really hammering home, like they really, I don't know if they would just want to piss Vince off or like what the creative decision is, because that was a dirty word for at least 15 or 20 years. Sports entertainment was what they were using for the longest time, and now they're using it in like every other sentence. So I kind of want to see why they started using professional wrestling instead of sports entertainment, like why they went back to that. That would be an interesting question for Triple H at a press event.
They're saying wrestling is back.
Professional wrestling is back. Maybe it's like a Rock thing. He's like, let's call it professional wrestling. Yeah, just a really good match. I don't know what else to say. Very emotional, very good. We'll